Agentforce.
A year ago, Agentforce was just a whisper, an idea. Today, it's the fastest growing product we've ever launched.
Let's talk about Salesforce unveiling Agentforce.
Tell us how big companies are using Agentforce.
It's not just what is possible, it's what you are going to make possible. Humans with agents driving customer success together. This is what AI was meant to be.
But this story isn't just about scale. It's about something more profound. It's about a choice. Is AI going to replace us? Or are we going to be in command of it? At Salesforce, we've made our choice. We're building AI that elevates people, where agents handle the busy work, so we can focus on the work that matters. Because AI, when built with trust, it elevates your people. It helps them move faster, think deeper, and connect more meaningfully. Agentforce has now handled more than 1.5 million customer service requests at Salesforce. Now, that's not just a milestone. That's over 1 million questions answered with precision, 1 million customers understood with empathy and care. And most of all, more than 1 million times our people were empowered to drive greater value. Okay, the future of work, it's not artificial. It's profoundly human. Around the world, companies are embracing this new way of working, where people and AI partner together across every function, in every corner of the enterprise. And when that collaboration works, it doesn't just change how companies perform, it changes how people feel about their time, their impact, their purpose. More time to solve, more energy to connect, more humanity in the loop. This is the Agentic Enterprise. A transformation designed for people, powered by AI, built on trust. And here's the truth. AI, it doesn't feel. AI, it doesn't care. But we do. And that's what sets us apart. Because the real miracle isn't building machines that think like us. It's building an enterprise where people can become everything they're capable of being. So welcome to the Agentic Enterprise.
Please welcome EVP Product and Industries Marketing, Salesforce, Patrick Stokes.
All right. Good morning, New York. Let me be the first to welcome you to World Tour New York. Thank you all so much for being here with us. Whether this is your first event with Salesforce, or if you're like me, your 1000th event with Salesforce, whether you're from right here in the city, upstate, way upstate, Connecticut, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or God forbid, Boston, thank you all for being here. So, don't get them booze. Come on, the New Yorkers got to cheer. We appreciate your time here today, and we don't take it for granted. Now, we have a big job to do today. We are going to answer what I think is the most important question that all of us are facing in our careers right now, maybe the most important one that we'll ever face in our careers, and that's how do we leverage the power, the potential of agentic AI to scale and to grow our businesses in ways that we never thought possible. Now, this is going to take us a minute or two to do. In fact, it's going to take us about 55 minutes to do. But the good news is I have brought the world's best collection of speakers and presenters to help us do that, so we're going to have a pretty good time. Now, of course, before we do anything, we have to start by thanking you. Thank you to our amazing customers, to our partners, to all of our employees that help put events like this on. We don't take your time for granted. We appreciate you being here. It's been an amazing journey with all of you. But also, a special thank, as we just saw, to our amazing community, our MVPs, our Trailblazers, our Agent Blazers. Drew, congratulations. That's a long time coming. As a New Yorker, it's awesome to see you get that. Also, welcome to any of our new Informatica team that we have here with us for the first time today. Welcome, Informatica. We're going to hear more from them in just a little bit. But I have one more person that I want to thank. You know, today, December 10th, is my 15th year anniversary at Salesforce. It actually is. And I've been doing this for 15 years, and this person has only ever watched me online and never come and see me, and that's my dad. And he's right over there. So thank you very much to my dad for being here. Now, my dad taught me some values, and hopefully you all learned some values from your parents. Hopefully you were lucky enough to do that. And at Salesforce, we always start by reflecting on our values. Our values of trust and customer success, innovation, equality, and sustainability. These are values that aren't just words on a plaque. They're built into the very foundation of our product. They're built into the foundation of our community and how we work with all of you as customers. And we think about these values when we start anything. What these values have taught us is this really interesting idea, this belief that business can actually be the greatest platform for change. And this has been built in since the very beginning, this thing that we call the 1-1-1 model, the idea that we would give back, Salesforce would give back 1% of its time, 1% of its equity, and 1% of its products back into the community. And in that time, over the last 26 years, we have raised almost $871 million for philanthropy and done over 10 million hours of volunteer hours collectively, which is pretty incredible. In fact, right here in New York today, I am told there are about 100 nonprofit organizations represented right here with us today. If you are from a nonprofit, could you just stand and be recognized for a moment? There's some. There we go. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you being on this journey with us. Now, what this has shown us is that we can do well as an organization while doing good at the same time. And we're, of course, incredibly proud of our growth made possible by all of you, our customers and partners. We're guiding for FY30 to $60 billion in annual revenue, which is just an incredible number. I can't believe it. But what we're more excited about is being recognized as one of the most innovative companies, one of the top companies that care, and we couldn't have done any of this without all of you. Now, speaking of all of you, some of you are in your kind of Super Bowl moment at the moment. It's the holiday season. If you're a retailer, Salesforce is having an incredible impact just in the last few weeks with Black Friday and Cyber Monday. We did over 56 billion outbound marketing messages. We have done over 4.2 billion service interactions with Agentforce. And one that I'm so excited about, 68 billion AI-powered recommendations. And best of all, we did all of this with 100% uptime, not one blip, not 99.999, whatever, 100% uptime. Now, this has been a pretty amazing journey, and through all of it, through all of these 26 years, we have always had the same mission, the exact same vision. It's a durable vision. It doesn't change. The world around us changes, but this doesn't. Our mission is to help you, our customers, connect with your customers in a whole new way. And that really started 26 years ago when Mark and Parker were in a small apartment in San Francisco, and they were looking around at the world and seeing, hey, look at all these people that are now starting to shop online. They're going to Amazon, they're going to eBay. This is totally different. It looks so easy and so much fun. Why can't our business software be just as easy as Amazon? And that's where we started Salesforce and started pioneering the cloud model. And over the last 26 years, we have built a legacy of innovation. We helped bring you into the cloud. We helped bring you into mobile, into social, and into the early phases of AI. But there's a new phase of AI right around the corner, right here today, and of course that is Agentic AI. And Agentic AI is an incredible technology. Of course, it's changing the very way that we build all of our software, that all of you will think about your software, but it's much, much more than a technology. It's a revolution. Because Agentic AI is giving us the ability not just to change our software, but to change the very way that we work. It's a revolution. It's this idea that now we can have intelligent, trusted AI agents augmenting every one of our humans in our organization, but also being out there and actually performing tasks and helping us scale and grow in ways that we've never been able to before. But there's something a little bit weird going on. There's this sense, this idea that it's just a little bit in front of us. We just can't quite reach out and touch it. It's like there's this divide. There are problems that we have to solve in order to leverage this new technology in our day-to-day business. I talk to customers every day, and they're all struggling with this. They're struggling with getting their data in good shape. They're struggling with building their own platforms. So many customers are trying to DIY this themselves. In fact, it feels a lot like 2010 when everybody was enamored with the hyperscalers, with Amazon and the savings they could get from that. But rather than just using it, they tried to build it themselves. And now here we are 10, 15 years later, and everybody's on the hyperscalers. We feel the same way here. What if we could build a platform? What if we could solve all of these problems with you? Well, if we could do that, we have an incredible opportunity. In fact, we've given this opportunity a name. We call it the Agentic Enterprise. It's this idea of humans and agents working together to drive customer success, to drive employee success, and to find new ways to scale and grow your businesses that you've never been able to do before. Now, Salesforce itself is an agentic enterprise, and we took a very deliberate take on this when we started this process 2 years ago. Mark said, hey, if we're going to do this, if we're going to change the whole company, if we are going to become an agentic enterprise and drive agentic AI into every workflow, into every part of our business, we need to do it ourselves. We can't just send our customers out on that journey. We have to prove that this works ourselves, and so we started doing it inside, and today we're doing over $100 million, or we have saved $100 million annually in our customer service center. We are picking up leads off the ground that we would have not been able to respond to in the past because we didn't have enough capacity. We are picking them up off the ground, qualifying them, and turning it into new business, all through the power of Agentforce. And we're not the only ones that are doing this. Today, in just about a year and a half since we launched Agentforce, 12,000 customers have now joined us on this journey to become an agentic enterprise themselves. Incredible customers like RBC Wealth Management. They have these wealth managers that have to prep for calls with their clients. They've taken that prep time from 3 hours down to just about a minute, so they're able to talk to more clients than they've ever been able to. Or Pandora, who's handling over 60% of their service cases with Agentforce. This is even working for nonprofits like America on Tech. It's available for everybody. Now, we've learned quite a bit from working with these 12,000 customers, and we've, since the first release of Agentforce, released 4 more releases, each one getting a little bit easier to use, a little bit smarter, a little bit more integrated, and most of all, a little bit more trusted and accurate. Now, when these releases come together, it brings us to something truly new. An entirely new way to use Salesforce, just like our own mission and vision states, right? A new way to connect with your customer. This isn't your old AI CRM or CRM product, which you've come to know us as. This is so much more. We call it Agentforce 360. It's this idea that you can use these agents, these intelligent agents, to augment and change, transform every one of your customer experiences, like those shopping experiences we saw a moment ago during Cyber Week, or change all of your employee experiences, right? You can change your HR experiences, your IT experiences, but even newer, what if we could use Agentforce to change your day-to-day operations? Things like, think about your supply chain. How much time does it take to onboard a new supplier every time your supply chain changes a little bit? Now you can do that with Agentforce faster than ever before. Now, how does this all work, right? We said that the potential is there, but how do we reach out and touch it? How do we actually make it all possible to do this? Well, it starts with 4 layers. There are 4 layers that we need to bring together to make this all work. And of course, the first is your data layer. With Data 360, Informatica, and MuleSoft, we are taking all of your enterprise data and we are giving it meaning. We are giving it meaning so that the AI can understand what all that data is, where it is, how it got there, and can it be trusted. And with MuleSoft, we're turning all of the events that are happening across all of your systems into signals. Signals for the agents to respond to trigger new actions. And with our customer data platform and Data 360, we are bringing that all together into one unified data context engine for your AI. Now, on top of that is your apps layer. Now, why are the apps so important? Well, the apps are important because we have 20, maybe 25 years of our business processes, of our workflows deeply encoded into these apps, right? No matter what industry you are, whether what function you're working on, sales or service or marketing, all of that is encoded into these apps. And so if we could make those workflows, those APIs available to the agents, they would be more powerful than ever, which of course brings us to our agent layer. This is where you build and design your agents, but it's also where you connect all of those workflows so you're never, ever starting from scratch. And of course, you can orchestrate all of that into super agents, where you have specialized agents that do one job, but super agents that actually interface with your customers and employees. Now, Agentforce 360 is the only platform that brings all 4 of these layers together, and it's exactly why Futurum calls it the most complete agentic platform. And it's also because I forgot the 4th layer, which is experiences. When you go to deploy these agents, you want to be able to deploy them anywhere. You want to be able to deploy them where your customers are, maybe on your 1-800 number on your website, or maybe now right inside of ChatGPT, but you also need to deploy them inside of Slack where your employees are. Now, this comes together, and Futurum calls this the most complete, the leading agentic platform. It's these 4 layers that gives you these incredible benefits like accuracy, because your agents are grounded in all of your enterprise data, not just the data, but the meaning behind the data, they're going to be more accurate. And transparency, you always know what your agents are doing. We open it all up, the way it thinks, the way it reasons. All of that information is available to you, so whether it's going well or going bad, you have exactly what you need to diagnose or to scale. And then finally, time to value. Like I said, when all of these apps and agents come together, you're never starting from scratch with Agentforce. You're able to build and get up and running faster than ever. And a big part of the reason why you're able to do that is because of the 20 years of industry specialization that we've built on top. It turns out the way we sell in manufacturing is different than the way we sell in financial services. That specialization has never been more important when we're building these agents. Okay. Now, we're going to bring this to life for you, but before we do that, I want to spend just an extra minute or 2 talking about that data layer, because we are incredibly fortunate today. We're actually joined by the Chief Product Officer of Informatica, is here with us for the first time today, Krish Vittal-Devera. Krish, welcome, man.
Oh, thank you, Patrick.
Great to see you.
Yeah, it's actually great for me and the Informatica team to be here with all of you in New York.
Awesome. So, we talked about data, but we're kind of using some new words now. We're talking about it as context. We're talking about it as meaning and understanding, right? And I think a company like Informatica has never been more relevant in this movement. How do you think about that? How do you think about it coming together with Salesforce?
Yeah, I think for us, the goal is very simple. Every system, every workflow, every AI agent, we want it all to operate with the same shared systemic understanding. That's what we call trusted context, right? So that's the magic we want to deliver to all the customers. And when you use trusted context as a magic, Agentforce can be confident that it's always operating with clean, trusted, contextual data that's required to drive precise outcomes.
Absolutely. You think you could show it to us?
Yeah, we'll show it together a little bit. So if you look at an average enterprise, it has thousands of systems and applications. The list, as you can see, goes far beyond Salesforce, right? All of you have data on Databricks, Snowflake, BigQuery. I'm pretty sure any data platform that you can name.
People use other things in Salesforce?
Absolutely.
Amazing.
and that's really where we come in, right? So we bring that power together. So Informatica manages the metadata of all these systems and applications with our data catalog. So the data catalog, think of it as a unified map or a metadata system of record that tells you everything you need to know about your data. The data lineage, the data quality, how it's connected, where it flows, and how it's used. So Salesforce has been known for its Customer 360 view. Yeah. What we do with Informatica is we enable you to give the same 360 view for other entities in the enterprise. Right? These are also important, like product, supplier, reference, finance, and more. But this data, as you can see, is in variety of systems, data lakes, warehouses. And once you do that, there is data duplication and multitude of formats that you have to deal with. So a master data management is how you bring it all together to show which value from which system can be trusted so that every agent and human is operating with the right context. And for me, I would like to close it by saying that Informatica's system of record, combined with Salesforce system of activation, is what creates that magic, that trusted context that every agentic enterprise needs.
Amazing. We feel the same way. Krish, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the Informatica team. Okay, so we're going to bring this all to life, and we're going to do it the way we always do it at Salesforce, and that is through the lens of our amazing customers. And so we're going to start, sorry, I hit the next slide. That's my fault, but it didn't change. That's good. We're going to start with Williams-Sonoma, and we're going to do that with one of the very best, of course, Sanjay Naparalekar. Sanj?
All right, thank you, Patrick. Williams-Sonoma is an iconic brand, and they want to bring the joy of cooking and hosting in your home to every single customer worldwide. So it's no surprise that when they wanted to build their very first AI agent, they wanted it to embody those same qualities. And in just 28 days, they were able to deploy Olive, their AI sous chef agent, that is now resolving over 60% of the cases that are coming in through their website. And at the center of their transformation is Agentforce Service. Now, this is Service Cloud completely reimagined with Agentforce at the center. Now, every single service rep at Williams-Sonoma has the assistance of an agent so they can provide top-tier service. And underneath all of this, of course, is a powerful platform, our Agentforce 360 platform, which has some exciting new updates that I'm going to show you today. And it all starts with our Agentforce Builder. Agentforce Builder has gotten a huge makeover over the last few months, and now you can build these agents with natural language easier than ever before. But we've heard your feedback, and time again, you tell us that sometimes LLMs and AI agents just do not perform in a predictable way that you can accept for the customer experience, which is why you can now create these agents with Agent Script. It turns those natural language instructions into deterministic code, so you now can provide that reliable and predictable customer experience every single time. So you've built your agent, and now what, right? How do you make it truly speak the language of your customer? That's where the latest innovations in Data 360 comes in. With the new intelligent context, you can now bring in any unstructured data, your PDFs, your product manuals, images, anything under the sun, and now your agents have all of the context and deep understanding so they can have more accurate responses for your customers. Now, last but certainly not least, Agentforce can now speak. Agentforce Voice is now here, so you can provide 24/7 service to all of your customers on your most popular channel, which is voice. Now, all of this really comes to life in a live demo, so Kristen and Abby, let's take it away. All right, this is the homepage of Williams-Sonoma, and their AI sous chef agent is here on the bottom right-hand corner. And by the way, this is live. You can all try this for yourself today if you'd like to. And what I love about this agent is that it's not just transactional. It's not just helping me buy a product. It's helping me make my event a success. So let's say I want to plan a fall dinner party, and I want to do something a little bit special here. Olive is going to think about it and provide all of these recipe recommendations that are just for me. Now, I know what you're thinking. There are probably hundreds of ways that you all find recipe recommendations online. It's a pretty easy use case. But these aren't just any recipe recommendations. These are recommendations based off of a product that I recently bought on their Black Friday sale. I recently bought a new Dutch oven, so these are going to be perfect for me to cook in my home. Now, I'm not much of a cook myself, so I need a little bit of help with this recipe. So I'm going to ask a follow-up question of a tutorial. And again, the personalization continues. That context about me is persistent with every question that I ask. So this tutorial is not just for anybody, it's for me because of the product that I have, and I even have a helpful recommendation here, if we scroll down, of another product that is gonna help me complete the recipe. Now, this is an amazing use case if you're browsing online, but Williams-Sonoma's most popular channel is that of voice. And so why don't we go ahead and give this a spin and give Olive a call. Benny?
Hi, Sanj. Welcome back to Williams-Sonoma. How can I help you today?
I'd like to purchase the pan you recommended.
Yes, I see you were referring to the copper saucier to pair with your Italian.
Yep, that's the one. That's the one.
Recipe.
That's the one. Does it come in any other finishes?
It comes in stainless steel too. Want me to place that order?
Yes, please place the order.
Done. Your order's confirmed and on its way. Anything else I can help you with?
Yes, I'd love some help with some tablescape ideas for my party.
I can connect you to a design specialist for that. Please hold. Thank you for calling.
Okay, now I want to call out a few important things about that experience. The first is that it was personalized. It called me by my nickname, Sanj. It knew who I was just by calling in, which is step number one. Step number two is I could interrupt it. I promise I'm not that rude in real life, but I could interrupt that the same way I would with a human conversation. And last but certainly not least, it had a seamless handoff when I asked about design ideas to a service specialist who now has Agentforce service behind their desk so they get all of these helpful recommendations right in the flow of work. They have the entire context of the conversation so they can continue on and help me with my design ideas. Now, I want to show you just how powerful this experience is because of the speed of which Williams-Sonoma could bring this to life. This is the brand new Agentforce builder. And like I said, this is completely new. So let's learn together just how powerful this is. This is Olive. And right here inside of the builder, I can customize the way that Olive speaks right here in my voice settings. I can customize the voice, the tone, the cadence, anything I want from right in here. But I mentioned that the product recommendations are special. And I want to show you how to really build this agent in a way that is going to work in a reliable way every single time. Now, when you see a builder like this, there is a really human reaction to build out instructions that look something like this. Always do this, never do that, make sure you do this. And that can be completely confusing to an LLM. And I know some of us might use these types of instructions if we're using a consumer AI product like ChatGPT, and it's kind of funny when it gets it wrong, but it's not funny when it's your customer experience at hand. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and turn this natural language instruction into deterministic code. We're going to turn it into agent script. And one thing that I didn't mention before is that this new builder experience has an agent built in, so it can help you with this entire experience. And there we go. We're going to go ahead and transform all of this into agent script. So now I know that every time a customer is logged in, I'm going to go ahead and deliver a product recommendation experience that's delightful, that's seamless, and that's consistent every single time. Now, that's the way that Williams-Sonoma has completely transformed their business and become an agentic enterprise. And we want to show you more with the story of FedEx. Shibani, take it away.
Thanks, Sanj. FedEx is an agentic enterprise that operates on a global scale. But even with small business customers signing up around the world, they had a challenge. Customer signing up is not the same as a customer actively shipping. And let's face it, FedEx doesn't make money when a customer is signing up. They're making money when a customer is shipping. They had disconnected shipping data from marketing data, so it was really challenging for them to see the complete view of their customers, and that was slowing down sales. But with Data 360, with intelligent context, and with Agentforce, they were able to get a complete view of their customer. They were able to take those dormant customers, and they were able to turn them into active shippers. They did this with Data 360, the next generation of data cloud, unifying your enterprise data, your customer data, your unstructured data through zero copy. And what's more is that now Data 360, it stores your Agentforce conversations, your customers' preferences, and that gives your agents memory. One more thing that Data 360 does, and this is one of my personal favorites, is data governance is not an afterthought with Data 360. Your compliance teams are going to love this, and I'm actually an ex-IT auditor, so I love this, is that when you create compliance policies and governance policies, they're applied to all of your data automatically. Now, we know that agents, they need data. But more than data, they need context. That's what helps them be intelligent. But in most enterprises, that's actually very, very difficult. The same data, it sits in your lake, it sits over here in a warehouse, it sits in a business system, and how many different formats are there for date? And you have to try to reconcile all of this. Well, Informatica, it brings cataloging. It brings lineage, data lineage. And Informatica brings a golden record. Now, there's one other thing that agents can benefit from. Agents rely on signals. They rely on signals from your systems. Think of a signal like, in the case of FedEx, a shipment that's running late or it's delayed. Well, MuleSoft, what it does, it connects all of your systems to be able to surface all of these operational signals. And those signals trigger your agents to take secure action. And Data 360, well, Data 360, it wraps it all around. It unifies your data, and it brings trusted, governed, and intelligent context to every single one of your agents and your applications. So let's do a double click on Data 360, specifically through a demo. And to do that, please welcome again Kristen and Abby. Perfect. Now, I had shared with you that FedEx had a challenge. They had all these dormant customers, and we needed to turn them into active shippers. Well, we solved that problem with Data 360, but they had a new problem, but it was a good problem. The problem was they started getting a lot of questions from customers now that they were shipping. Questions like this one: what's the best way to ship a 70-pound box of wholesale electronics from Austin to London? You'd think that's kind of easy. That should be a simple question. But the reality is the answer is very, very complex, because it depends on the delivery zone, it depends on the shipping services, import, export, or any other nuances that are very specific to that delivery. Well, as a FedEx seller, what I have access to is through Slack, I can access Agentforce. That's how I can answer all of these questions at scale. So I jump in and I ask Agentforce the question that the customers asked me. What's the best way to ship this box? Now, Agentforce provides a response. Excellent, but it's not very helpful. Because instead of giving me the answer, what Agentforce is doing, it's telling me to reference a 200-page PDF. All right, let's humor it. Let's check out that PDF. It's a good-looking PDF, but when I'm scrolling down, I can see there's a table, there's charts, there's headers, there's footers, there's an index, there's a lot. Now, I can process this. I can understand this because that's a human skill. I can understand that this is a chart, that's a table. I can see the symbols, and I can see the index key. That's easy for me to understand. But when you take a document like this, an unstructured PDF, and you process it or upload it the traditional way, you know what happens? It gets completely flattened. It turns into raw text. In this raw text, it's losing all of the meaning. Let's find that same line. So we can see England over here. We see England, we see UK, we see D. What does D mean? We knew through the PDF, we could see that D was the zone. We could see that the check marks were what were the services that were available within that zone. But now it's flattened. So it's very challenging for an agent to be able to understand this and make meaning and context of it. Well, this is why we are introducing intelligent context, Data 360 intelligent context. Because now, when we take an unstructured PDF like this and we upload it, what happens is we get intelligent chunks. We can start to see all of the pieces of that PDF logically parsed out into an index. We scroll down, we find that same entry. You know what we see? We can see that it is England. We can see that it's Zone D. We can see the export and import laws and all of the standards that apply. This becomes a meaningful slice of information that an agent can use to reason. But before we put this back into production, let's do a quick test. So we're still within Data 360. We're going to ask Agentforce that question one more time. Now that we've uploaded this document using intelligent context, look at that. We get a response. We get a response that's accurate and that's complete. It's not referencing me to the PDF anymore. But it does look like Agentforce is being a little too generous because it's also exposing some internal FedEx employee contact details. The reason why that's happening is because that PDF, it's not an external document, it's an internal document. So that's okay to have internal contact details for an internal document, but that's not something we accidentally want exposed to a customer. Well, like Ed said earlier, the inner auditor in me is geeking out right now because with data governance, it's built in. We can create a policy right here. And instead of having to do many keystrokes to be able to configure that policy, with Agentforce embedded within Data 360, all we do is use natural language to describe the policy that we want to create. In this case, it's a masking policy. We want to hide that information so that it doesn't get exposed to a customer. Agentforce does the work for us. We just validate that it's the right policy. We hit activate. Now that we've got this policy activated, let's jump right back into production. So as a FedEx seller, I am going to ask that question one more time. What's the best way to ship a 70-pound wholesale electronics box from Austin to London? And this time, Agentforce delivers. The answer is complete, it's accurate, and most of all, it's appropriate. It's not exposing any sensitive information. And this is how FedEx has been able to take their seller productivity and reach it to a new level by taking raw data, converting that data into context, and context into intelligence. Thank you. And to tell us one more story about how PepsiCo has become an agentic enterprise, please help me welcome Taxina.
Thanks, Shivani. All right. Well, PepsiCo, you know them. They're a food and beverage giant. In this keynote alone, in the 60 minutes, 40 million products will be consumed across the globe. That's staggering. But what you may not realize is that half their sales come from small businesses. So with limited hours in the day and lots of demand, sellers, they can't always keep up. But that problem's over because PepsiCo, they're an agentic enterprise. They're using, and I realize I didn't grab a clicker from somebody. Well, someone can click the next slide. Thank you. They're using Agentforce sales and field service to augment every team. So with Agentforce sales, they're leaving no lead behind. That means AI agents are nurturing, qualifying leads, and helping to accelerate that deal cycle. They're ensuring that those sellers keep the fridges and those shelves stocked. With Agentforce Field Service, which is the product that my team builds, we're helping PepsiCo ensure that that expert service gets that fridge up and running and functional, keeping the operations moving. That means that a skilled technician is out there in the field and making that visit very productive. All right, do you want to go see a demo? Let's go take a look. So here, this is going to start on the website. This is where sales and marketing comes together. PepsiCo is using this to let agents help make that one visit for a retailer, big or small, be able to get instant two-way information and support. That's marketing information on products, sales information, all in this one place. But you know what else it can do? It can even transform a prospect into a nurtured lead. So here, Agentforce is coming up and creating and crafting personalized emails. It has all of this information that they're gathered from that prospect's intent. And it's giving us product recommendations based on the business size, the region, and what they're looking for. But these are not canned templates. This back and forth, that's an AI agent having a conversation with a prospect. I want you to think for a minute, what does that mean for you as an organization, where you have an AI agent nurturing the funnel for the leads that you don't get to? That's incredibly powerful. Okay, so now let's go to the sellers, because the sales teams now have a new workspace. This that you see here is the sales workspace. It's a new action hub, and it's been reimagined to think about how sellers and AI agents are working together. They have now a lead that's being able to be nurtured. Now, you know what it was like before? A seller would come in and they've got a long list of leads. They don't know who to call or which one to prioritize. Will the customer or prospect call them back? Do they need to book a meeting? All of that is now transformed because they have an AI agent that has actually been nurturing this lead. They've done the hard yards to get that lead going. Being able to book meetings, prepare for them, and using Tableau Insights, have a great view and know exactly what their business needs, which deals are going to move faster. For sellers on the go, they can get all of that meeting prep summarized and also those same insights and the guided support right in the Slack mobile app. This is ensuring that right in the flow of conversation where you're collaborating, it's there and you don't miss a beat. This is the new sales. Now, it's not just about sales, because PepsiCo's backbone of operations is their field and ensuring that their customers have great service. So I hear this from our customers. Technicians are going from job to job. Let's think about this. If the fridge is not operational, they're not selling drinks. That retailer needs to drive revenue. So it's really important to get a technician out in the field as fast as possible. The field service mobile app is the lifeline of expertise, and this is the pre-work brief. It's a crisp summary of the job, the asset that needs to get fixed, and any information that they need. In fact, you can even listen to it on the way.
The front display Pepsi cooler at Scotty's Deli isn't keeping drinks cold.
Thanks, Kristen. You get the point. This is what I call productive windshield time. So stuck in New York traffic, you can listen on the job. Now, if I encounter an issue when I'm on site, a technician can turn to Agentforce. And Agentforce is there to answer questions about to be able to guide them through that troubleshooting, that has the knowledge that they have, the unified knowledge that's in Data 360, the product manual information, the issues from past history to be able to determine that right fix. And it's guiding them through that experience. When the job's done, they can upload a picture and photo to show that this is the work that's complete and be able to produce that service report. But not only that, because Agentforce has actually analysed that picture, they're seeing that those fridges that are stocked, that's actually an upsell opportunity. This is what we mean when sales and service come together out in the field. It's making your field operations turned into a revenue engine. And that's how PepsiCo is becoming an agentic enterprise. They're elevating 120,000 employees to better serve their customers using AI agents. Now, I know you're probably wondering, how do I build my agentic enterprise? Well, to do that, I want you to welcome up the man who is building all the tools. Take it away, Kush.
Right. Thank you, Taxina. Now, for the last 26 years, trailblazers like yourself have used the Salesforce platform to convert your ideas into applications, automations, dashboards, and now AI agents. But in this agentic era, how you transform your ideas into actionable business value is dramatically changing. And today, we're going to enable you to embrace this change. Introducing Agentforce Vibes. Agentforce Vibes is the fastest, the easiest way to conversationally build prototypes on the Salesforce platform that accelerate your path to production. Now, since launching at Dreamforce, our developers, our admins, our MVPs, our architects have been super busy vibing away. In the last 6 weeks, over 23 million lines of agent-generated code has been accepted, verified, and checked into production by all of you. This is truly amazing. This is not AI slop. This is agent-generated code that has been validated, accepted, and checked into production by humans. Now, my teams and I built Agentforce Vibes from ground up, and we are super appreciative of all of the feedback that you have shared, and I assure you that we are actively working on it. Now, most vibe coding tools tend to sit outside of your organization. They lack business context. And so most of them help you create prototypes that aren't really contextual. In fact, they don't really help. Agentforce Vibes is different in a number of ways. First and foremost, from an availability point of view, it is available as an IDE extension, which you can use in any IDE of your choice. And second, it is available as a fully featured IDE, available in every production, sandbox, or scratch org, because we know some of you work in regulated industries where use of third-party software is not permitted. Agentforce Vibes also understands your business language. It understands your context. It understands your metadata, your data, your code base, your integrations, your semantic data models, so that it can actually help you build contextual prototypes that actually truly help you accelerate to production. So because it understands your context, it speaks your business language. So now, let's show you Agentforce Vibes in action. So my team and I, we've been tasked to build out a marketing activation dashboard that shows the impact of marketing activations on our sales pipeline. And so we've been collaborating on this product requirements doc that you see over here. And we've defined this app as a real-time analytics dashboard. We've defined the various core metrics we want to track, the data sources, the design elements, basically guidelines that we should be using when building this application. But instead of writing my first line of code, what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide this PRD to Agentforce. And so here we are in Agentforce, the full-featured IDE. where on the far left, we have our friend Agentforce as my coding partner. It also comes included with the Salesforce DX MCP server. And what this does is that it has a set of tools which enables Agentforce to truly connect effectively to your org to understand the business context. It helps you write code and metadata that is well generated, that is high quality, well formed, and it also helps you manage your entire application lifecycle. Now, in the center, we have the product requirements document, which we will be using as grounding prompt for the agent. And on the far right, we have the visual preview of what we're going to build. So let's take this for a spin with a slow jog. And so we'll ask Agentforce to add a header. Now, before Agentforce writes even a single line of code, what it is doing is that it is interpreting the document, the PRD, understanding the context, understanding the guidelines which it should be using as it develops the application. And very shortly, in a few seconds, you'll see the header surface. And almost there. There you go. Right. So there's real code, not anything else. So we've got just a basic header, and you see a confirmation on the far right from an agent point of view. But let's get to the substance of the application, the actual dashboards. And so we'll go say, add the charts. Now, a simple statement of this fires off a number of things behind the scenes. First and foremost, it starts to connect to your org. It looks for semantic data models, data sources that actually match the context that you are looking for, number one. Number two, it's looked for other existing Lightning components, other existing dashboards within your org that it can reuse so that it's not sort of just polluting your org. If there aren't, it's going to go create the right Lightning Web Components, the right dashboards that match the design system that you've asked for. So as you can see over here, we've got 3 visualizations on how the marketing activations is impacting the sales pipeline. Now let's make this a little bit more interactive and go ahead and, under the header, add a map and a table. I can filter by city. Now, notice that I've done this step by step, because in reality, nobody just says, go build this app and goes to get a cup of coffee. That doesn't happen. It's a dance that you have with the agent, right? You're going back and forth. You're refining. It's helping you. You're keeping it in line. So this is where agents and humans work collaboratively together. So as you can see over here, we've got our map in place. We've got the table where we can filter by city. We've got the various dashboards. And now, through Agentforce Vibes, I can go ahead and deploy this to my org. Now I'm in my sandbox org, where you can see that in a matter of a few minutes, I have a prototype that is grounded in my organization's data, metadata. It's in a pretty good state to socialize with my team, with other members of the organization, before I refine it to take it to production. And so this, my friends, is how Agentforce Vibes, working seamlessly with our Agentforce 360 platform, enables all of you to conversationally build your prototypes, accelerate your time to market in this agentic era. Thank you very much, and back to you, Patrick.
All right, thank you, Kush. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up a little bit. Hopefully you have seen what we think is an entirely new Salesforce. We call it Agentforce 360. Sanjana showed us how Williams-Sonoma is changing every customer experience. Shabani showed us how FedEx is changing their operations. Tax showed us how we're changing the employee experiences with our sellers, and Kush showed us how we can bring it all together and actually start building. So we're so excited about this new Salesforce. Now, as Krish appropriately pointed out, we know that Salesforce is not the only tool in your arsenal. What you really need is a platform, an ecosystem that is open and extensible, and Salesforce is here to meet you there as well. We have thousands of ISVs that have built implementations on top of Salesforce to help you get started faster. We are an open model company, so you can bring any model, your own model, Google's model, OpenAI's model, into Agentforce 360, and we're open data as well. You don't have to pick your data up and move it to Data Cloud. You can federate it with zero copy. It's a completely open ecosystem. But best of all, just today we announced this. If you've ever wanted to build a new business, and it's hard to build a new business. You have to go and you have to build all sorts of technology, and you need a marketing system and a customer database. It can be hard. Well, now you can OEM the entirety of the Salesforce platform, all of Agentforce 360. You can OEM and get started right now. We're very excited about this. We cannot wait to see what you all build with that. Now, speaking of getting started, we are here to meet you. We have forward deployed engineers that will come in and help you pick the right use cases to get started, help you figure out how to get your data in the shape that it needs to get. On pricing, look, the world has not totally standardized on a pricing model yet, and we know that, so we are being as flexible as we can. If you want to pay by consumption, we got you. If you want to continue to pay by seat, we can do that for you as well. If you don't care and you just want to buy unlimited and not have to think about it, we'll do that for you as well with our Agentic Enterprise licensing agreement. Point is, come and talk to us. We're flexible, and we can work with you. Now, today, it's not over yet. This was just our keynote, but we have a full day of programming here for you. I highly recommend a few of these sessions. You can come and dive deeper into Informatica. If you're in financial services, many of you are here today. We've got a session for you. If you want to see how you can use Agent Builder and all of that new technology that Sanjana showed us how to build Agent Fasters, we've got a session for you as well. And so with that, of course, we want to end the same way we close. That's by thanking you. And I do have one ask for you, that little QR code. We take this very seriously. If you scan that, it'll give you a short little survey. Tell us how we did. We try to get better every single time. My team and I really do. We appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Have a great day, New York.